Okay, so I'm doing another video today because something else I've been giving a lot of thought about for a while now. Um, and this is regarding WWE. As we all know, especially after the fall of WCW and then the subsequent invasion storyline back what 2001. After that, of course, WWE did the whole roster split and everything, and had a separate roster for Raw, separate roster for SmackDown, and basically booked them as competing shows. And then after a number of years and everything, the roster kind of dwindled down enough and everything where the roster split really wasn't necessary anymore. And and I'm not saying right now, WWE should necessarily bring back the roster split. That's not where I'm going with this. But what I do want to touch on is the rapid growth of NXT, which, those of you who have the WWE Network know it is an amazing product. I mean, they put on some really, really, really fantastic matches. And and if you watched Unstoppable last week, then you saw at the end Samoa Joe appearing and making his NXT debut, whatever, staring down Kevin Owens. Now, here's the thing. NXT is supposed to be a developmental territory, and of course, now having a big name, especially a prominent face from TNA like Samoa Joe, now at NXT, you know, there have been a lot of articles floating around like Bleach Report and a number of places that is NXT really a developmental territory anymore, and I can kind of see the argument with that it's not really a developmental territory anymore. And so I've been giving this a lot of thought, and what maybe WWE ought to do is this. I mean, for starters, everybody knows that SmackDown is quote unquote the B show. It always kind of has been because, unlike Raw, it's almost never live and everything. It's usually always taped and everything else like that. And most of the main storyline plots for all the various storylines, are broadcast on Raw. So I started giving this some thought, and so now I'm kind of incorporating the whole kind of idea and concept regarding, taken from other sports, like baseball with the minor leagues, and even like say like English Premier League with relegation. And so let's look at it like this. Let's use let's say let's kind of let's what WWE should do is use SmackDown as literally the middle area. Keep NXT as your developmental system. And so all your the new the new trainees, stuff like that. That's where they belong. SmackDown should then be used as a vehicle for the guys that are really good at NXT and really should be called up to the main roster, but there's not really a spot for them. And basically use SmackDown as basically, if Raw is the major leagues, SmackDown is AAA, and that's what they should do. So then you can move guys like Owens and Sami Zayn, Tyler Breeze, Finn Balor. You could probably move Charlotte Flair, Sasha Banks. You can move a lot of them up there to to SmackDown and have them basically make SmackDown like basically the the AAA show. And then you could do a lot of the guys that don't get that get virtually no TV time on Raw, but are still on the main roster. Guys, you guys like your Heath Slaters, your Zack Ryders, stuff like that, and and literally basically relegate them down to quote unquote AAA. And then, like I say, so of course, all your best guys, all your top guys will be there on Raw. And they'll be the main focus of the storylines. They'll be the main focus of the pay-per-views and everything else like that. And then, basically as guys, as they continue to improve and stuff like that, you'll be people who will get bumped up from SmackDown to bumped up from SmackDown to Raw, and then guys that aren't really kind of cutting it and everything on Raw, they can get bumped back down to SmackDown. Maybe refine their gimmick, work on it, work on a few things and everything. Really, do things to kind of get themselves over with the crowd again, so that way they deserve to be bumped back up. Now, again, some people might see this as might see this as a bad idea and everything, and especially with the roller coaster ride that is the finances of WWE right now, because they said, yeah, it seems like everywhere you turn, they're either having like really good earnings reports or really bad, and it just seems to be like a roller coaster ride. I understand that it might be a little bit cost prohibitive for WWE to do something like that right now, considering that of course, since the release of the network, it has hurt the WWE's overall bottom line, because again, they're not getting the pay-per-view buys anymore. Because I mean, at the same time, for the most part, who in their right mind is going to spend $55-$60 on a pay-per-view when you can drop $10 a month and you get every pay-per-view? I mean, you think about it right there and everything. You know, you're getting you know you're getting 12 pay-per-views for the price of two. In the span of 1 year. So like so this might be a little bit cost prohibitive for WWE to do this right now, but it should be something that they should look at. Now, some people might say, well, this is going to hurt NXT, whatever. NXT won't be as exciting. And yes, that is entirely possible. That is entirely true. That could very well be an issue, and it could very well hurt the NXT product in the like overall, or at least in the short term. But like I said, if you used NXT what it was originally intended for, to be kind of a breeding ground and a developmental territory, like I said, and then you have guys kind of work their way up from there and everything. Because again, in the professional wrestling business, whatever, you gotta cut your teeth at the bottom and work your way to the top. And so making if a guy makes his way to Raw and makes his way up to the from from like the mid card picture on Raw to the WWE title picture on Raw, that really is a testament to not only a wrestler's abilities, but his popularity. And I think if WWE really wants to produce a better product and everything, because again, I know there's a lot of the wrestling, the internet smarks out there and everything that they just completely shit all over WWE's current product right now. So like I said, it might not be a bad idea in order to basically try to tweak the product and everything. So not only does it like I said, because the product as it currently stands, I mean, it really does pander more to the casual fans than the hardcore fans, and and I understand whatever. I mean, that's ultimately, like I said, you really do want to draw those casual fans in there, because again, that's more revenue for the bottom line. Because the hardcore fans, they're going to come to the shows, they're going to buy the shirts, they are going to spend all this money and everything, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to be enough. You got to have the casual fans in there too. You got to have some, the product for, the kids and everything. You really want to try to draw in, female viewership and everything, well, whatever, and really have a diverse demographic. And so, like I said, I think SmackDown would be much better used as kind of a AAA vehicle. Like I said, if Raw's the major leagues and everything, SmackDown be the AAA and everything. And have these guys that are incredibly over NXT right now, like Owens and Zayn and Balor and Breeze, have those guys, out on the, have those guys out on the road and everything, playing to larger crowds and everything. I mean, really, if you want to build stars, you need a vehicle to really truly build stars, because again, you're not going to have a whole lot of the casual fans that are subscribed to the WWE network. You're not going to have a whole lot of the casual fans watching NXT. I mean, yes, they they do their best to advertise NXT on like Raw and SmackDown and everything else like that. But again, you're not really getting the casual fans watching that. So if you really want to get these these NXT guys over with the casual fans, you got to give them a much more mainstream vehicle, and I think SmackDown would be the perfect use for that. some people are they're not going to agree with me, and I understand that, and that's fine, whatever. And again, I'm purely throwing this out there, purely as an idea, purely as a theory. Something to think about because it's something I've given a lot of thought about and everything. And I mean, I realize it's not the best idea in the world, but it is something that it might be worth exploring. To give WWE a chance to really kind of branch out the product and everything, and really do more to appeal to the casual fans and everything, and get some of these guys that are essentially on the cusp of greatness to really further get them over. I mean, yeah, sure, it was nice to see Sami Zayn versus John Cena on Raw a few weeks ago and everything. Um, but at the same time and everything, having a one-off match like that and everything isn't really going to get, guys like Sami Zayn over with the casual crowd. So, so in conclusion, everything, it might be worthwhile and everything to do more SmackDown. Especially if you're producing an original product for SmackDown, it'll draw in more viewers. Again, that way you're not you're basically not stuck with the like rehashes from Raw and everything the next night, at least the next night live on SmackDown, or Thursdays, when it airs on TV. Of course, making SmackDown live would also be a huge help too. If you're having a different crop of guys on SmackDown plus making it live, live makes it must see TV. Because we all know and everything. I mean, Tuesday night and everything, you can go online and everything and find all the spoilers for SmackDown and everything. And then what's the point of watching it on Thursday? You already know what's going to happen, and so it's a waste of time. And so it would be to WWE's benefit to make SmackDown live, and to, like I said again, to diversify the product by basically again using it as a stepping stone for the guys that are on that either aren't really performing up to snuff there on Raw and everything, and just need to go back down, maybe maybe do some retweaking some of that, and then for these other guys in NXT that are on the cusp of greatness, give them a vehicle to move on up. Um, again, purely my thoughts and everything on this and everything. And again, I know some people are going to think this is a great idea. Some people are going to think this is a terrible idea, and that's fine. I mean, that's the whole point of this. So I was just throwing it out there as an idea to see, do kind of gauge kind of what people might think about that. So, anyway, if feel free to leave comments and everything else like that. I welcome other points of view to this and everything. Maybe somebody else is seeing something that I'm not seeing, but this was just something I wanted to throw out there. So anyway, y'all have yourselves a good one, and I will see you the next time I make another video.